So now what we can do is, let's say the inputs, tools and technique. Okay, let me just tell you what I've written here. Okay, see, plan communication management has an output called communication management plan, isn't it? Managed communication has a main output. This is main output. Okay, project communication, and then monitor communication basically have two main output, that is the work performance information and change request. From where did I get it? I just prove what I spoke. I think I was doing some maths here, so let me just close this. Okay, just a second. Yeah, just a second. Let's close this. Yeah. So can we just tell you this? Okay, this is the PMBOK 6th edition, isn't it? Yeah. So can we just tell you something like this? Okay, this is what we learned so far. We have three processes. One is plan communication, one is manage communication, and one is monitor communication. Yes or no? Isn't it? And what we agreed, this is what we discussed just now, isn't it? The output of plan communication is communication management plan. Keep these two words together, keep the word last, isn't it? Communication management plan. And then we come to manage communication. In managed communication, we said, isn't it, work performance report. This is what's the story, isn't it? How things are going. What is do you know what's work performance report? Did I speak, isn't it? This is what is work performance. Each
it comes from the scope and it comes from the schedule.
Plus all, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, each knowledge area would give you a work performance information. This information combined together, because let's say the project, let's say the sponsor or customer, he might be interested in the scope, but end of the day he wants to see as the whole project. This is what is a report. This is information. This is data. Okay, is this clear? If it's not clear, I will explain this concept. Really?
No, clear.
Sure. Okay. Type. Okay. Yes. So let's say this work performance information with, let's say this is where the input. This is the input for this managed communication, isn't it? And we give the, let's say, the customer based on his requirement. That's where project communication has come. Okay, it's not only as I told you, this project, let's say this is your customer. Okay, so this project communication is not just between me and the customer. Even our team members play a role here, isn't it? Because they are the people who do the job, isn't it? So we are like this, isn't it? We need to give, isn't it, like this? We should be, you say, John Channel, isn't it? Yes or no? Okay. We should be, we are the middle guys. Okay, so this is where you have an output called project communications. Clear? And again, moving forward with the, let's say, monitor communication, we have the work performance data. This becomes work performance information plus change request. Is it clear? Okay, so moving forward. Okay, so yeah. Let's say project plan communication manager. What are the inputs? Okay, project charter, sure, isn't it? Let me. I think there's some confusion here. Listen, let me just rub everything and explain that. Okay, listen. Rub. Okay, you remember when I think today I just gave this hint today also, isn't it? First we have the project charter. Isn't it? This guy is being connected with identifying stakeholders, isn't it? Okay. From this project charter becomes input for project management plan. Yes or no? This is initiation, isn't it? This is planning. Any comments? This plan goes everywhere, isn't it? Everywhere this plan goes. So 100% for every planning, we should have project charter as the input. Yes. Okay, that is why you see this beautiful project charter here. Because this is a plan communication management plan, isn't it? Where was I? Okay. So can I tell you that this project management plan is made up of a series of plans, isn't it? One is let's say scope management plan, isn't it? Requirement management plan. Every chapter has one or two plans, isn't it? Let's say the schedule management plan, and so, isn't it? Then let's say the last one, stakeholder engagement plan. Okay, is this clear? isn't it? So for every planning, okay, I think this block diagram is very clear. This is an initiation, then planning. This project charter, this is not my computer, project charter, isn't it, is an input for the project management plan. This plan is going for every knowledge area has a plan, isn't it? Without a plan you can't move forward, isn't it? So I'm going here, that's why you see this project charter as the input, isn't it? Then the project management plan. I think this is nearly for every plan. This is the same input tools input.
Yes.
Isn't it? And I given you also hint how to remember this. And then this documents update, everything updates, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
And everybody have this expert judgment, isn't it? And data analysis, let's say data representation, isn't it?
Yes.
This is, if you see this technology is here. Method is here, model is not, there's method here, okay? I'll explain what is what, okay? Don't take tension. Okay, let's go to is this clear so far? I think this chapter is very, very easy, and this is the remaining one, project management plan, project documents, isn't it? I'll explain all of them, and then we will move forward with that, okay? Let's be specific here, okay? Let's go to the LAN communication model management, okay? Is it clear so far?
Yes.
I think the introduction is the most important thing, isn't it? The time before I start with the book is where I convey the whole message, isn't it? What isn't it? So let's say we are in plan communication management, okay? Yeah? With me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have a project charter here, project management plan. I told you most important thing is stakeholder engagement plan, okay? And then there's a resource. Actually, let me just tell you, communication, you need to communicate everything. There is no such thing as only this two. Not limit. They say the word, they use the word not just limited to. Okay? Isn't it? Yeah? And then we have the requirement documents. I think this is what we spoke, isn't it? We had the requirements document, stakeholder register. Why stakeholder register? We should know from who all should we speak. Yes or no? Yeah? And then EEF and OPA. Okay? This project management, we have the communication management plan, updates, stakeholder engagement plan, schedule, stakeholder register, updates. Any comments? Type. Yeah, expert judgment is clear, meeting is clear. Let's move forward between these two. Okay. So what is communication requirement analysis? This is what I told you, a couple of minutes before. Before let's say I have a report or whatever may be, I have to understand how do you want me to represent it. That's what I said, communication requirement analysis. Isn't it? I give you a word, no PPT. Isn't it? This is how isn't it how my team members also communicate forward. I can't just send a text message. Isn't it? This is my project charter. Isn't it? Yeah? And then communication technology. What is communication technology? For example, what medium do I use it? Isn't it? Communication technology. We need to understand here in communication technology, that first thing initially there would be something called as learning curve. This you need to analyze that, understand that. This can affect your project. Isn't it? Yeah? With me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think what I will do is I'll show you what communication model. This is what I saw. There is a transmitter. I think he's given a beautiful diagram here. Transmitter. 1 second. This is what I was talking about. You see, communication model. There is something called as acknowledge. Acknowledge means just receipt of the message. Okay, but does not necessarily mean there is agreement or something. It means he just received the document. Does not mean that he understood the meaning of the message. Nothing. This is when you give a feedback. Feedback is when a received message is decoded, understood by the receiver. The receiver decodes the thought, idea, and transmits back to the sender. I think that block diagram which I showed you looked clear, isn't it? Let's say that block diagram is here, which he has given. Yeah, this one. Okay, see, this is your encoder. Actually, this is the sender, isn't it? Encoder transmits the message with our beautiful noise. That's because of the noise, isn't it? More the distance, noise increases, isn't it? And then this guy decodes the message and just sends an acknowledgement message. Isn't that means what? He received some message, and after that he sends a feedback message. You can send it instantly with the feedback message. This is what I understood and whatever. Isn't it? Yeah? Is it clear? Okay. This is what called communication model for cross-cultural communication. Okay. Is this clear? Decodes and I think this is easy, isn't it? We are in electronics. This should be chocolate. There is another thing called as communication methods. What is communication methods? Okay, the different types of communication. Interactive. What's the meaning of interactive? Interactive means what? We are doing an interactive communication, isn't it? It's called real time.
Yes.
Isn't it? You speak, I speak instantly. Sometimes I have to keep quiet, sometimes you have to keep quiet, isn't it? Isn't it? What is a push communication? These are good. Just make this as important. What to say? Very important. Okay, especially this push, pull, and interactive. Everybody knows. There might be a question. They ask, what type of communication is this? Okay. Yeah. So what I think interactive is clear, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. What is push communication? Push communication means what? You are, as a sender, sending it to, let's say, specific people. Okay, you just send it to them. Any comments? Okay, but does that mean, yes, it does say directly specific recipients? Okay, it means who need to receive the information. These people need to receive it. You send it to them. You're just pushing information, but does not really ensure that really he understood. No. Okay, just like pushing the information. Okay, like for example, letter, email, reports, fax, whatever, blog, isn't it? You're just sending information to these people. They understood, didn't understand, doesn't make sense. But this is not as big as pull communication. Pull communication means what? Used for large information set, very large audience. Okay? And people are going to tune, like I think best example is radio. Pull communication. Isn't it? They keep broadcasting, sorry? Isn't it? Let's say newspaper.
It could be social media.
Yeah.
Social media,
newspaper. This is what. That's what they mentioned. YouTube.
YouTube.
He keeps sending for large. Now he's because even I'm now in YouTube, isn't it? Isn't it? It's just isn't it? They understand.
Coming in, I missed that. What was that statement?
YouTube.
Yeah.
Isn't I said it's like it's like YouTube. Then I started laughing because I'm also on YouTube, so I just can't make fun of YouTube now. Okay. Is it clear?
YouTube is informative. Yeah.
Isn't it? It is sometimes informative. Yeah, it is informative. Yeah. Isn't it? But yeah, to be very honest, okay, maybe I have my own opinions. I'm not against anyone. Okay, but thing is, in my opinion, YouTube is I always believe this. Okay, I always believe this. Okay, anything free information is always, not. Like for example, there's going to be a big difference. Getting information from a book or from a paid source, than getting information from a free source. What do you say? There's going to be always a difference. Sure, because YouTube is you make it sense, nonsense, you're going to be accepted, isn't it? Because it's free knowledge. But when I think, for example, a publisher, an author, isn't it? I think example the book, PMBOK, or whichever may be the book, isn't it? He is publishing it in writing, isn't it? Maybe I'm speaking, isn't it? You get the picture here?
No.
Isn't it? I always really, for me, YouTube is like secondary knowledge. It's not secondary, tertiary knowledge. I would always recommend going for a book than, isn't it? Because this is, let's say, validated by millions of people, isn't it? Anyway, let me just keep my mouth zipped. Let's move forward. Okay. Yeah. So there's different. Listen. This is the most important thing. Okay. You expect some questions here. Communication methods. Okay. Right, going below that, what are the interpersonal communication? Information is exchanged between individuals face to face. Small group of communication between, isn't it, 3 or 6. Public single speaker addresses a group of people, isn't it? Mass communication between people sending the message to a large anonymous group, isn't it? I think it's clear, isn't it?
Yes.
Networking and social is like too many, isn't it? Facebook, whatever. Okay. Right, let's move forward. This is all information. Okay. Communication style, interpersonal communication style. How do you communicate? This is all based on what, see, this is written here somewhere. It will mention that it depends upon the stakeholder engagement. What he requires, you need to communicate, you need to tailor it based on him. Isn't it? Because sometimes, let's say, some clients or some stakeholders, okay, they are not, you can't send them a message like, WhatsApp or something. You need to send it by email or whatever may be the story, isn't it? It is based on their requirement, isn't it? Our aim is to make one thing called as customer satisfaction. Yes or no? Yeah? Mr. Joseph?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Isn't it? Our aim is to get customer satisfaction. I think somebody called you.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't have a call.
Time, okay, because we lost connection for some seconds. Anyway, okay. Is this clear so far?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then as I told you, you must be politically aware, see his cultural awareness, isn't this is all to be taken into consideration when you are communicating, isn't it? Because some people interpret messages in different means or different methods, isn't it? Best example, when I say 9:30 to 9:45, isn't it? It was interpreted as, you have two options, either 9:30 or 9:45, isn't it? When I meant actually between, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? You have to be, next time be careful, John. Don't put this symbol. Put word between, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's clear, isn't it? Okay, data represents something called as stakeholder engagement matrix. This is the one, stakeholder engagement matrix. What does it mean by stakeholder engagement matrix? Okay, this you will be learning in chapter 13. Okay, what does it mean by this is my mistake. Okay, listen, what does it mean by stakeholder engagement matrix? Okay, so for example, let's say this is the list of all the stakeholders. Okay, list of all the stakeholders. Let's say stakeholder A, B, C, D. This guy has his style of teaching, isn't it? This guy has not teaching. This guy has his requirement. This guy has his requirement. So, for example, okay, let's say this guy likes to have it by email. If I send him my WhatsApp, he's going to disturb him. So, we need to just take into account. That is the meaning of stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. This you're going to learn when this is what I said, current state and desired state. Okay, display gaps between current and desired engagement, isn't it? Main aim in this whole subject, or let's say project management, is all about customer satisfaction. Customer is happy, things are happy, isn't it? That's why after every class somebody sends message, I hope you enjoy today's class, isn't it? This is called stakeholder engagement. Anyway, okay, is this clear? Okay, see again, communication management plan is the output, basically describes how the communication would be planned, structured, managed and monitored. This means what? How would I move forward? How would I plan? How would I do manage communication? How would I monitor? Monitor means what? How do I, isn't it? How do I control the communication? Isn't it? This all depends upon the stakeholders, isn't it? Isn't it? When should I receive the information? Reasons for distributing the information, isn't it? If I have to, it's called hierarchy. Everything is in this communication management plan. Is it clear? Who is responsible for communicating? Who is authorized? Isn't it? It's not that everybody sends messages whoever they want, isn't it? Okay. How do I send it? This is all related to communication management plan. A flow chart. How is the, let's say, the means of communication, medium of communication, isn't it? What are the status reports, isn't it? What website, software, whatever, isn't it? Okay, let's keep moving forward. These are the documents which updates. The second one, that is managed communication. Okay, managed communication means what? What is managed communication? This is first thing you need to understand. It's an execution process, isn't it? This is where our, let's say, work performance report, isn't it? What was done by the whole project is given to the, isn't it? To the team members and the stakeholder. That's where, see, flow of information between team members and the stakeholders. See, listen, isn't it? Is this clear so far?
Yes.
This is where we get the project communication and all the various plans, project management plan, all these updates, whatever. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think you have all more or less the same tools and technique. Project reporting. Project reporting means, what is project? Just a second. Change log, work performance report. I think this is clear, isn't it?
Yes.
Communication technology, isn't it? You need to understand the organization influence in the meeting, discussion, conduct, whatever, methods, how do we communicate. Communication skills, communication competency, feedback, non-verbal, isn't it? Body language, presentation skills. I think this is easy, isn't it? Is it clear or something? You have any confusion, doubts or something? Okay, what is PMIS? The software which we use for communicating, isn't it? Electronic project management tool, electronic communication management tool, fax, email, social, blogs, whatever, isn't it? These are all the what? PMIS softwares which we use. Outlook, isn't there, or what? Softwares for helping us to communicate, isn't it? Okay, so now what is project reporting? Okay, project reporting is what? It's basically like what is this? It's what is the meaning of project? It's basically what? It's kind of a document which will help me to give information from the stakeholder, okay, and even to let's say a stakeholder can be whom? Can be the customer, can be, isn't it? Can be the sponsor. Between, that's what I told you a couple of minutes before, isn't it? This is the what's this? Isn't it? And here is, isn't it? We need to get it this way. This is the main thing, isn't it? Reporting, project reporting, isn't it? This is what? Project reporting. What? How is the status moving forward? What is going on? See, reports, isn't it? Okay? I hope this is clear. I think there's nothing very fancy here in this chapter, isn't it? Yeah? Active listening. What's the meaning of active listening? Listening with the ears on, isn't it? Isn't active listening means what? I tell you what's the meaning of active listening. Okay, active listening means what? This what? Involving, acknowledging, clarifying, and confirming, understanding, and removing any barrier that have been. What does it mean? It means, I think it's what we are doing always, isn't it? When I don't keep sending. I just don't keep pushing information. Isn't, I acknowledge it back. Do you understand? Whatever, that is called acknowledge. Isn't, that is called active listening. And you confirming what he has told. Let's say I told A, you receive A, and then you tell me, John, I have received A. I understood A. This is called active listening, isn't it? It's not just I keep, isn't it? That's, I think it's clear. Yeah, that is active listening. And then I think what's this? Meeting management is ensure intent and objectives, whatever. Okay, I think networking. I think it's not being a film here. It's easy, isn't it? Any comments here? See, listen. Yeah. See, what is project communication? Includes artifacts, may include, not limited to reports, delivery status, delivery schedule, whatever. This is what? To whom? Required by the stakeholders, isn't it? This is what I told you, isn't it? When we have the work performance report, isn't it? This becomes project communication. This is how the, let's say the stakeholder required us to be presented, isn't it? Yeah, I think this is easy chapter. What do you say? Or it is other way around? John, it is easy chapter, but you made it difficult. No, I think I don't think so. This isn't it.
No, it's easy and interesting as well.
Okay.
This is what we are doing daily life.
True, isn't it? This is
More focused.
true. More specific, isn't it? So listen, I tell you one thing. Okay, let's move forward. We'll finish this chapter, and I tell you one thing. Okay, listen. Maybe in the next chapter we're going to do risk or procurement. That's the next chapter. Risk is seriously one of the most interesting chapters. Okay, let me finish this chapter and I speak about risk, or maybe in the next class or something. Okay. Okay, so let's there is now 3 chapters, let's say 4 chapters remaining as of now. Chapter 3 we can do it like, that's a theory chapter, role of project manager. Okay, so we have more or less, let's say, procurement. Now risk is next, then we have procurement, and then we have stakeholder. After all these 10 knowledge area, we do something called as integration, isn't it? Chapter 4. Then this is 11. I think we're coming closer towards the seaport, isn't it? Shore, isn't it?
Yes.
These 3 chapters are what's this? Risk and procurement, one of the most interesting chapters. I think every chapter is interesting. Sorry?
It
True, because you can never know. You never know risk can come from where. Let me give you a small. Let me not spoil my trailer for the movie. Okay, I have a beautiful trailer for this. Is a huge chapter. Okay, this is a huge means huge chapter, and you have, let's say, your exam is filled with this chapter's questions. Okay, risk, because you know what happens is, risk, many people say, Sheikh, no problem. Because it's a huge chapter, many people try to neglect that and they focus on others. I would strongly recommend, okay, well, let's finish it and then I'll tell you. This is a chapter which you have to keep your eye and heart and soul for that. Nearly every chapter, right? Because we are not just looking for exam.
I'm looking forward for it because I'm looking forward for the risk thing because right now I'm doing some projects and everything looks to be good, but I'm not able to identify the risk, what's going to come up.
Something called as risk register. Okay, don't worry, we're gonna enjoy. Okay, this is where my alien, this is where this character all started. Okay, you will understand that character when I come to that. There is some beautiful examples I have for risk. Okay, we need to be a fresh mind in that. Let's say maybe on Tuesday or something.
Yeah, Tuesday.
We will speak about that chapter. Okay, then we have procurement. Everybody, I think risk procurement. This is something which we do nearly on day-to-day basis. Stakeholders also. I think moving forward, all is just like swinging chapters. Swinging chapter in the sense you get the meaning of swing, isn't it? John's meaning of swing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think nearly every chapter I try to make it swing, isn't it? At least I said for me, most important thing for me personally, I believe the explanation on the board. This is the most important thing, isn't it? This gives you every information. Then when you come there, it's just now connecting dots together. Am I right, or maybe I am speaking too much?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, back to the story. Okay, so we have here monitor communication. What is the main work performance data? This guy becomes work performance information plus change request, isn't it? Here we are monitoring and controlling. We are monitoring and controlling our plan, isn't it? As a stakeholder communication resources, isn't it? This all plan against our work performance data, how our team members have done, how our team members have performed, and then we have an information. Are we on, let's say, on track, or are we behind track, or whatever? If we are behind, we have to change the request, isn't it? Sometimes communication can be an interface, isn't it? Isn't it? Let's suppose we had to send you an email. We didn't send. We send you a text message. This is something isn't it? Change request. Okay. I hope this is clear. Okay, and then we have our expert judgment software, stakeholder engagement matrix. Actually, listen, this concept will be learned when we come to our last chapter, 13th chapter, stakeholder engagement. How do we, each stakeholder, somebody is calling me, not somebody is calling, just a second. Okay, yeah, back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the story, isn't it? Engagement. What does it mean, stakeholder engagement? How do we engage with each stakeholder? Because see, not all stakeholders are same, isn't it? Some people are a bit tough. How do we make him, isn't it?
Yes.
This all we will learn. Okay, and then we have observation and conversation, interpersonal team skills, isn't it? All good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, listen. So I think we shall say we won't be winding up. Okay, I think this chapter is more or less over. Okay, and then in the next class we have this beautiful chapter called project risk management. It's a huge chapter. Okay, just showing you this. This is a huge chapter, but I think I will make this. But it doesn't have any tough let's say tools and techniques. You see, nothing very fancy here. Just have a look. There is no such things as what are the strategies of threat, what are the strategies of opportunity. We will swing this chapter. I will swing this chapter with you. Okay, we will make this chapter easy. Say risk register, whatever. When I have some alien classes to be given for this chapter, this coming up, and the stakeholder, all chapters moving forward. I think for every chapter which I have given you alien, isn't it? Swings. This chapter has something called the character, which isn't it? A cartoon is there for this chapter, which this is where I introduced my this guy. Okay, Okay, and this guy stuck around for a long time, isn't it? From scope, customer became that same character, whatever. Okay. Anyway, can we wind up for today's class, or what's the story?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, I think today we are a bit ahead of schedule. No, yeah, ahead of schedule, much ahead of schedule, isn't it? I think, yeah, that's the story for today's class. Anyway, I hope today's class you enjoyed. Listen, next class we will be on Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, 7 p.m. Okay, I would like you before the class. After the class, we will be sending you a beautiful test for you.
Yes.
Okay, study and come. Study and come. Okay, the test won't be chocolate, but I think if you study and come, it's going to be, let's say, jalebi.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sure.
Anyway, Mr. Joseph, I hope today's class you enjoyed. I think we are much behind schedule. Ahead of schedule, isn't it?
Ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Lag and lead, yeah, isn't it? I think because the chapter is too small, isn't it? Isn't it? Anyway, any comments if we said adios for today and then next class we continue?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it was picture perfect. Okay. Anyway, my friend Mr. Joseph, enjoy your lunch. And before we enjoy the lunch, let me stop recording, isn't it?